What we need to do is bring that back together. We have some groups defending economic liberty to a fair degree, and others defend personal liberties to a degree. But we have to bring this together and ask some people, why they don't see this and consist. Why aren't you more consistent in defending liberty? I know that one thing for sure is when people do understand freedom, freedom is very popular. People come together, not because we want to do things together, not because we want to go to the same church or read the same books or take the same vitamins or feed ourselves. It's not that reason. We come together because we all want to make our own choices. That's what brings us together. I think that is what's happening. I'm very encouraged. The college campuses are alive and well. The remnant is waking up. The message is out there. We don't have to invent anything new. Freedom has been around. We don't have to go back to the dark ages. If you go back to the dark ages, which they accuse us of doing sometimes, oh, you want to go back to this and back to that. Freedom is relatively new. Authoritarianism, dictatorship, tyranny, that's what's old. Most of the world throughout history has lived under tyranny. Samuel Adams said that all we need to bring about change is to have an irate, tireless minority. That is what irate, tireless minority is getting bigger all the time. But it is never required that 51% has to move a country. Rarely, it almost never happens. But people who are strong believer in issues and ideas and principles, they do lead the way. So any individual that would come to a meeting like this are interested in these viewpoints. But you're still in the minority. But you still have the influence. You have the influence throughout your life. But your first obligation is to learn and study and explain what this all means. But in another sense, then you have to dedicate yourself. If you believe in it, you don't do it because you're doing me a big favor. You do it because it's a big favor to you and your family, and you want to live in a free society. There is no doubt the need for it. The need is so evident now, more so than ever before. We have this message, and we go back and we pick up the pieces. And we left it, and we have forgotten it for 50 years for sure, longer than that even. But we need to decide if we can look at our history and say, yes, they had some very good ideas. The founders did have some great ideas. But there were imperfections, there's no doubt about it. But they also warned about the imperfection. The only way a constitution, even if it could be perfectly written, is only as good as the people. The people who are obligated to live under it. An immoral people cannot manage a moral document. So it is the morality of the people that ultimately really counts.
Amen.
We have an election coming up. There'll be one here shortly in the state of Washington, and quite a few will be coming in March, and a difference will be made. What happens, I don't know. I don't try to say I know what's going to happen on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I have a pretty good grasp of what happens if we don't change our ways, if we continue to spend money. I know what's going to happen. Not when exactly or how it's going to come about. I know what will happen if we go into wars unnecessarily and fight wars that are ridiculous. And those kind of things are happening. So you can understand events in the direction of a country. But whether it's going to be tomorrow, next day. But I am convinced that the foundations of our liberties and our financial system is very, very fragile. And when you see the laws coming around to say that we can use the military to round up people, when you see the riots going on in countries that are being denied some of their benefits, it gets a little frightening. But where I get the encouragement is coming to a group like this who are excited about freedom and a return to these concepts of liberty. For that reason, I remain an optimist. I believe we can restore America.